morning. Today is Tuesday, November 11th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zorie and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I'm awake and cold.
Oh, really? Are you cold now?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be you're on the warm side of the cold, though.
Well, yeah, but it's still cold for me. I mean,
what's the temperature there?
Weather. Let me look. It's 40 degrees.
Oh, dude, we're 51 right now.
See, you're warmer than California.
Southeast Michigan right now is warmer than California. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
that's weird.
We get real hot in the summer, and we get real cold here in the winter.
We're about to get smacked with the cold here at the end of the day.
What gets me is how can they call it right at the time? Like, you're going to drop at 2 p.m., the temperature.
Well, that's because they're projecting how fast cold front's tracking. And,
because, like, on windy storms here in California, there'll be blizzard warnings, and it'll stay. It will begin at 2, and it will end at 3:30, and it ends at 3:30.
Yeah, they're getting pretty good about it. I'm not, I'd give it, like, I don't know, maybe a 53%, accuracy, I'd say.
Oh, out here on their windstorms, they get it right down to the minute. It's funny. It makes me laugh. It's like somebody just shut off the fan.
Interesting. Well,
yeah.
I'll give it better odds than that. Maybe 68%. How's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because really, they can't really. They can track pretty good now with like satellite, like small patches of rain and whatnot. But it comes right down to it's raining on one side of the street and not the other.
Yeah.
They can't predict that kind of crap yet. But, one
of the only jobs you can be wrong about 50% of the time is to keep your job. It used to be.
Absolutely. So, that's the warmer temperature than California is not lasting but for a few hours. It's supposed to get up to like 60. And then the nosedive happens.
What time is it supposed to happen there for you?
I didn't pay attention exactly what time, sometime in the afternoon. However, it's Veterans Day, so to all the vets out there, happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then yesterday was Marine Corps birthday, so happy Marine Corps birthday to everyone, too. Yeah, dude, we got up here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they're expecting 12 to 16 inches of snow, depending on where it tracks. So that's what by Thursday. There's supposed to be 16 inches up there.
Wow, that's amazing. We won't even get any rain.
Ironwood and Marquette, all those up there is it's gonna be. And the thing is, it's gonna stay in the 30s, so none of that snow is going away.
Right, it's not going to melt. The roads are going to get slick.
Oh, yeah. So here it comes. Michigan's a pretty big state, so we're going to get hammered.
But you guys are used to snow in the winter. You guys know how to prep for it and all right. Yeah.
Up in Marquette is like the major Great Lakes snow belts. So it doesn't necessarily have to snow on the extreme west side of the Upper Peninsula or the extreme east side, but through Marquette they get just insane amounts of lake effect snow right coming off the Superior and
where I grew up in Big Bear in Southern California, big ski resort. You had to prepare. You had at least a week's food stored up and games and all that because you would get literally snowed in. And until our neighbors would come dig us out, we were in.
Yep. I'm packing my car today for my winter survival gear right now. The last warm day, this is it. I'm going to just pack my car and then I'll be all ready for winter and get my food stuff in there and get all my survival gear, winter survival stuff, shovel, everything. Everything.
Yeah, it's cold, cold. But if I don't mind. I love the snow, and if you have the proper clothing, it's great.
Yeah, you have the proper survival gear. I mean, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I just need one of those big, giant, like bright orange flags. Is what I need.
Yeah, for when you. I have flares.
Snowdrift. You're gonna need like a marker you can stick way the hell up over your cars so that people know you're freaking there. I mean, snowdrifts can get. They were up to my armpits last year. It was really cool out in my front yard. I'm like, cool. Check this out. It was really, really fun. Actually, I had a lot of fun last winter. I enjoyed all that snow. We got record snowfall here. It was awesome.
Yeah, last snow we got was about 3 years ago, and we got a 1/4 inch around midnight, and I just got a picture of it before it melted.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah,
I stood out. It was like, I think, the day after Christmas last year. It's actually on my YouTube video, my YouTube channel. Yeah, I filmed that sucker. It was like horizontal snow. Yep, it was pretty fun. And then it just kept piling up after that. I'm glad that I cut the initial path from my poor dog to go out and pee, and I just maintained that throughout the winter. It was like no big deal, actually. So
yeah, I liked it when my dog would take off running and sink in the snow.
Yeah,
you have to go hunt him down.
Yeah, dogs love it, man. Some dogs are meant for that stuff. Huskies and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because they're built for it.
Sure, absolutely.
All that warm fur.
Yep. All right, there's kind of a lot going on. I mean, I almost wanted to read about that freaking Mitch McConnell thing again, even though some heard it, but it didn't get reported by any means. I mean, I don't know if we want to drone on about that, or maybe I could just go over the top.
I think it's pretty interesting that, I mean, everybody thinks the election's going to change things, and, I think people should know about it. It was, I looked all over for that article yesterday, and then I couldn't find it. Is it still up?
Yeah, here, I'll give it to you right now.
Okay.
Little chat box, and then I'll put it in the, so, yeah, people think it's all going to change. People think that the Republicans are here to save us. I got news for everybody. They're not.
Yeah. And, you sent a link, I seen you put a link up earlier in the chat about the small arms treaty. I thought that wasn't fine.
Oh, no. That is the UN Small Arms Treaty.
And see, I remember when it came up for signature, and we looked it up, and like the president can't sign us into a treaty without Congress approving. I don't remember that ever being approved.
Do you think that son of a bitch has to approve anything from Congress anymore? No, he doesn't.
I mean, have to honor it if it's not.
Perhaps it's perhaps no. This is actually it's treason. All right.
Yeah.
And like. All right, so let me read it, okay? Let me read it right now. It says, Merry Christmas. Here comes the cold, cold season, people. It said, I had this sent to me, like, last evening, so. UN declares arms treaty to go into effect December 24th. Its official website, the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, yes, it's really a thing, and yes, it's housed right here in the United States, announced that the UN, the UN's Arms Trade Treaty, ATT, oh really, AT&T? Yeah, I like how they word these, will enter into force on December 24th, 2014. Merry Christmas. For those unfamiliar with the text of the UN's Arms Trade Treaty, here is a brief sketch of the most noxious provisions. Article 2 of the treaty defines the scope of the treaty's prohibitions, the right to own, buy, sell, trade, or transfer all means of armed resistance, including handguns, is denied to civilians by this section of the Arms Trade Treaty. Okay, now hang on, I have to puke. Yikes-o-rama. Alright, Article 3 places the, quote, ammunition/munitions fired, launched, or delivered by the conventional arms covered under Article 2, unquote, within the scope of the treaty's prohibitions as well. Boy, man, this sounds like fighting words to me, man. Alright, Article 4 rounds out the regulations, also placing all, quote, parts and components. That means all parts and components of weapons within the scheme. Perhaps the most immediate threat to the rights of gun owners in the Arms Trade Treaty is found in Article 5. Under the title of, quote, general implementation, unquote, Article 5 mandates that all countries participating in the treaty, quote, shall establish and maintain a national control system, including a national control list, unquote. This list should, quote, apply the provisions of this treaty to the broadest range of conventional arms, unquote. Yeah. Alright. Article 12 adds to the record-keeping requirement, mandating that the list include, quote, the quantity, value, model/type authorized international transfers of conventional arms, unquote, as well as the identity of, quote, end users of these items. So, basically, what they're saying is governments will be the only ones allowed to train, trade, or use firearms, period. That is pretty much what this is outlining.
Okay, yeah. I remember when that all came up about, God, it's probably been a year and a half ago. And when we went in and read it. And when they describe what small arms, the problem there is they don't, it's really vague.
Sure.
But I still don't remember the United States signing it. See, it's only for the countries that signed into it. The ones that didn't, it's not going to affect. So we got to look somewhere to find out if it was signed by us. There's a few countries that didn't sign in. So that it comes into effect on the 24th. But I don't really know if we're... Huh?
I wonder if Hammy knows this.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. Because there was a big fuss saying that Obama couldn't sign it without going to Congress, but then I never heard anything after that. So we really need to find out if we are signed up for it.
I don't know whether to completely laugh at that.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I am laughing at it. Yeah, they're serious, but I mean, that's the whole damn thing, and the language is so broad. It's just the whole damn thing is inconceivable to me. But we've been screaming about this and screaming about this and screaming about this for years and years and years and years now, and now there it is. I mean,
you'll notice in the article they don't say anywhere if the U.S. signed up for it. They're just saying that UN treaty, our small arms treaty, will go into effect the 24th. You know, someone's saying we need to find out if we actually signed into that treaty.
All right. Well, it doesn't say in the rest of this article.
Yeah, there's the homework for whoever can find it. I'll look after we get off, but we need to know that. Because it could be a fear thing if we didn't sign it. Look at the panic it will put into people.
Right. All right. Well, here's a little bit more of this article. It says, Finally, the agreement demands that national governments take appropriate measures to enforce the terms of the treaty, including civilian disarmament, if these countries can't get this done on their own. However, Article 16 provides for UN assistance, specifically including help with the enforcement of stockpile management, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration programs. So what does that mean? FEMA camps.
Yep, and it means that we would have UN, troops from other countries,
right?
On
absolutely.
The soil here.
We've had this troops from other countries on the soil for a long time now. Okay, in fact, a voluntary trust fund will be established to assist those countries that need help from UN peacekeepers or other regional forces to disarm their citizens. Wow, just like they've done in Africa quite nicely, if I do say so myself. They've totally done that in Africa. Look what the freaking UN did in Rwanda. I mean, they just let them go. Let them go. Hey, better you do it than us. Those bastards. All right. Arguably, the Arms Trade Treaty would become the law of the United States if the Senate were to ratify the treaty. And you know what? If the Senate does that, and that may be something they're going to want to try and ram through before the lame duck session starts. I don't know, but I'd like to see him try it, to tell you the truth. While that is the all right, here we go. While that is the process that the Constitution establishes for the implementation of treaties, fundamental principles of Constitution and constitutional law dictate that no treaty that violates the Constitution can become the supreme law of the land.
There you go.
Absolutely. In the case of the UN's Arms Trade Treaty, there is no doubt that regardless of presidential signature or congressional consent, this treaty cannot pass constitutional muster and therefore will never be the valid law of the land, unless, of course, Americans once again acquiesce to President Obama's assumption of illegal authority and relinquish their rights and weapons regardless of the reasons they should not do so.
But see, we don't have to honor that.
Well, right. I mean,
right. Even if he did sign it, it can't become law here.
That's what that just said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still, we need to look into this. This is about one of the most serious issues at hand.
I think so too. I would absolutely agree with that. Sure,
everyone, get busy. Get a hold of your representatives and ask them straight out what's going to go on.
I mean, we just read it. I mean, there it is. They will be sending us to FEMA camps if we are. They're mobilizing against the gun owners right now.
Well, if they didn't sign it, they haven't signed it. If we haven't signed it, they can't put UN troops on here. All
right. Well, let me just put it. Go ahead and talk, because I will. I'm going to put it in the search engine and see what comes up. Let's see.
Yeah, because it's a very, very, very scary treaty. I mean, it just. I mean, right down to the smallest handgun, and it also air guns or anything like that is. It's so broad; it could be anything. So this is very, very upsetting. But to tell you the truth, I don't think we signed into it. I remember right, there was a big fuss about it and all. And someone said that they said that Obama planned to sign it, but then everyone counteracted it, saying he can't sign any treaty without first going through Congress. And
all right,
it never
did
come up.
I found it.
Oh, good.
Okay, and I think I don't know, but I think I may have even read it, but maybe not. Okay, this is from. No, I wasn't even on the air back then last year. Or maybe I was. I don't remember. Anyway, this is from September 25th, 2013. Obama administration signs U.S. United Nations Arms Trade Treaty. Okay. This is from the NRA website. Fairfax, Virginia. Today, Secretary of State John Kerry signed. It's not even Obama that signed it. It's freaking a skull and bones asshole that signed it. Secretary of State John Kerry signed the United Nations Arms Trade Treaty on behalf of the Obama administration. The National Rifle Association strongly opposes this treaty, which is a clear violation of the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. So it was John Kerry that signed the treaty.
And he hasn't got the power or the legal rights to sign anything for us.
My God, here we go. The Obama administration has so it doesn't, and nobody has opened up any kind of investigation into this. No one is blinking batting an eyelash when that happened, right?
Yeah, well, because people said it's not binding, and if you go in to the Constitution, it states that no treaty is valid unless it goes through Congress first, which it didn't, so it's not valid.
Right. It says the Obama administration is once again demonstrating its contempt for our fundamental individual right to keep and bear arms, said Chris W. Cox, Executive Director of NRA's Institute for Legislative Action. This treaty threatens individual firearm ownership with invasive registration scheme. The NRA will continue with working with the United States Senate to oppose ratification of the ATT. So, how come they didn't do that? Where in the hell was the NRA? And now all of a sudden, oh look, here we go. We're upon the date that, I mean, what are they going to do? They've sat on their hands? What have they done? A bipartisan majority of the U.S. Senate is already on record in opposition of the ratification, so they just oppose, they state it publicly, and then that's the end of it. On March 23rd, the Senate adopted the amendment to its FY 2014 budget resolution. Offered, I see. They tried to slip it into a freaking bill about the budget. So that's how these assholes operate, and it pisses me off. Oh my God, this is how they get the Congress to sign off on it. They sneak it in because these assholes don't do their job and read what's in front of them. Oh, God.
But even if they did sneak it in, Kerry doesn't have the authority to sign.
Right. No, you're absolutely 100% correct. Let's see. It says, so here's a traitor here. The Senate adopted the amendment to its FY 2014 budget resolution offered by Senator James Inhofe. Inhofe, Republican of Oklahoma. So I bet you he was reelected, I'm sure. That establishes a deficit-neutral fund for the purpose of preventing the United States from entering into the United Nations Arms Treaty. He's not a traitor. Actually, I take that back. This amendment is in addition to the previous efforts of Senator Jerry Moran, Republican of Kansas, and Representative Mike Kelly, Republican, Pennsylvania, to pass concurrent resolutions opposing the treaty in their respective chambers. Hopefully all those people got reelected. I'm sure they must have. Notably, the ATT includes small arms and light weapons within its scope, which covers firearms owned by law-abiding citizens. Further, the treaty urges record-keeping of end users, directing, and I already read all that, guys, directing and importing countries to provide information to an exporting country regardless of arms transfers, including end use or end user documentation, tracking and tracing, for a minimum of 10 years. All right, I didn't catch that last bit. Each country is to take measures pursuant to its national laws to regulate brokering, taking place under its jurisdiction for conventional arms. Data kept on end users of imported firearms is a de facto registry of law-abiding firearms owners, which is a violation of federal law. Even worse, the ATT could be construed to require such a registry to be made available to foreign governments. Yeah. Do you think? These are blatant attacks on constitutional rights and liberties of law-abiding Americans. The NRA will continue to fight, and it's all blah, 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 blah. All right. That's it for that. So, we got our answer.
Well, yeah, but really, no, we don't. Because people need to bring this out in the open, and besides just one little article about it, and it needs to start going through all the social networking that, we gotta find out if this is binding or if they're gonna treat it as if it is binding.
Well, they already are treating it as if it's binding. And if they don't do it right away, they will be doing it in the future.
Well, if you'll notice in the article, it says countries that signed into it. It says Kerry signed into it, which isn't binding.
Right.
And so it's still up in the air.
Do you think they care? Do you think they care about that? As long as there's ink to paper, they don't give a rat's ass who signed that thing. I could have signed that son of a bitch, and they'd still go forth with it. That's true.
I'm not so sure. I don't know.
They don't.
I'm saying it needs to be brought out.
They don't care anymore. They've gone past the point of no return.
But remember, we have Republicans in charge now. Everything's going to be fine.
Everything's going to be just fine. Oh my God. Exactly. And thank you for. Should I read that? Everything's going to be just fine with the Republicans, sure.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. This is, it's funny that they don't state in the article what countries, how many countries signed into it, and... And besides, the Constitution states no treaty is valid if it goes against our Constitution, which this blatantly goes against our Constitution. So I don't know, but it warrants some heavy-duty investigating and getting a hold of your representatives.
Oh, there you go. I got the whole enchilada right freaking here. All right, I'm going to post this in the chat room. What do we got? So here's the full text of the UN, the Arms Trade Treaty will enter into force in December of 2014. That's what it says on it. So the UN is absolutely thinking that this is it. And it says, how many states have signed on to the treaty? How many states have ratified the treaty? 54. Let's see. How many states have signed the treaty? 122. How many states have ratified the treaty? 54. General Assembly vote to adopt the treaty, 154 to 3 to 23, which means 154. Whoa. General Assembly votes. So the General Assembly of the UN has overwhelmingly voted to adopt the treaty. Let's see. Well, notice how it doesn't. Let me see here. I'm going to click on some of this crap. Oh, here we go. Albania, Angola, Antigua, and Barbuda.
Barbados?
No, it's not Barbados. It's Barbuda. Barbuda. Argentina, Australia, of course, Australia. Austria, Bahamas, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belgium, Belize. Isn't Dahl in Belize?
I think so.
I think he is. Benin, Bosnia and Herzegovina, of course, Bosnia, of course. Brazil, what is it? Bulgaria, Burkina Faso, whatever that is, Burundi, Cambodia. Yeah, all the ones from a lot of South America here. Cape Verde, Chad, Chile, Colombia, Comoros, Congo, Costa Rica, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark. There's more. I'm just kind of skipping over some of them. El Salvador, Estonia, Finland, France, Gabon, Georgia, Germany, Ghana, lots of African countries that have been completely coerced. Greece, Grenada, Guatemala, Guinea, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, that sucks, Italy, Jamaica.
I can't see Ireland giving up their guns. I
know. What the fuck, man? Japan, Jamaica, Kiribati, Latvia. Oh man, Lebanon. A lot of these. Liberia, Libya,
about Iraq and Syria.
I'm getting to those. Lithuania, Luxembourg, Madagascar, Malawi, Malaysia, Mali, Malta. Some of these I'm skipping. Mexico, of course. Canada was not on that list. Mongolia, let's see, Mozambique, Namibia, Nauru, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Republic of Korea, Republic of Moldova, Romania, Rwanda, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, they chopped a lot of heads off for that one in Rwanda, that signature. St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Samoa, Senegal, Serbia, Sierra Leone, ding, 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 ding. And now we're going in there and putting up like military tents all over the place to sop up what's left of the carnage. Slovakia, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, Suriname, whatever that is, Swaziland, Sweden, Switzerland, that's crazy. But it's not Holland. The former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
Well, you know what? Switzerland, I mean, they have rules. I mean, every person is supposed to have a gun in their home in Switzerland.
Oh, that's Holland. And yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there either. You're right about that.
Right, they provide ammunition for people to go and
yes.
Practice with their gun.
Right. By 19 years old, you're supposed to own a firearm there.
Right.
So that was, yes, absolutely. I'm glad you pointed that out. Let's see, Trinidad, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, of course, United Republic of Tanzania, United States of America, that was signed on September 25th, 2013, and Uruguay, Vanuatu, and Zambia. So there we go. That's all the countries that have signed on to this. That's going to start on December 24th. So what are they going to do?
Isn't it funny? When it first came out, there was this big thing about it, and then it just went silent until it's ready to be enforced.
And that's how it works. That's exactly how this all... Yeah. So let's see, how many states have ratified the treaty? So let's see, the ratification means countries that... I'm not going to read the whole list. Oh! Pretty much everything I just read, they all ratified. And let's see, the ratification for the United States occurred in April 2nd of 2014.
What? Whoa. I didn't hear anything about it in April.
Oh, well, it's right down there where it says ratifies the treaty. Let's see what it says.
Well, isn't that's when the Bundy
how many
thing
states have
happened, too.
it says how many states have ratified the Treaty 54, and the United States ratified it this year. So if nobody, it's pretty much after that process happens. I mean, it's pretty much signed on. So
remember, in April is when the Bundy thing happened, and that's all that was in the news all over the place.
Yeah, distraction, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
That's it. They got away with it.
Well, except for the one part where Perry signed it.
No, Kerry,
yeah. Because he doesn't have the authority, and the president doesn't have the authority to give him that authority.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. But it's been ratified.
And I'm sorry, why isn't this all over the place instead of one little article?
We should have been, not waiting until, the 11th of November. Just be raising it up the beginning, or I don't know. Everybody should have been bitching about it a long time ago.
Well, most people probably don't even know about it, and most people won't know about it if it stays this small article, and that's the only place I've seen it.
Yeah, well, it's right there on the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs website.
And how many people visit that office, online or not?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Did I post that in the chat room? I can't remember.
Yeah, you did.
I did. So, I would recommend that if you don't have your gun purchases out there, you better start doing it right now.
Wow, I got just dumbfounded.
I seem to have remembered reading that at some point.
Oh, I remember reading. Now I have the full text in my backup. I read it all the way through, and that's some scary shit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But we still have standing militias and all. I mean, it's not going to be pretty if they try and bring this about.
It really isn't, and everybody's fed up to their eye teeth with it.
Mm-hmm.
And people who have been, yelling the loudest about this since the mid-90s and before that even, they've been, stockpiling this whole time. So, good luck to them if they want to come and try and take it.
Right. It's going to get real messy.
Mm-hmm. I can guarantee you, American soldiers and stuff are not going to want any part of this, so they have to bring it. I wonder where the hell they're going to get all these, maybe a million screaming Chinamen are ready to roll off into the cargo.
Wait, was China listed in there, or
no,
Russia?
China wasn't.
Either one.
No. The points around Russia, like the Ukraine and Latvia and Lithuania, those are all pretty much under EU. All the EU states did.
But Iraq, Syria, they didn't.
No, I didn't see those. No.
Right.
Let me run back.
Interesting. What surprised me the most was Switzerland.
That one. Definitely. No, Canada's not. So pretty much all of North America except for Canada. Wow. Maybe I have to make a run for Canada, eh?
Or Russia or China.
I don't know, man. Nope.
China needs women.
No. no. Oh my God, that's funny. China's not. Russia's definitely not. Nope.
And I don't know.
Crazy.
Ireland, I just don't see them giving up their guns either.
Scotland didn't. They were like, fuck what?
Yeah, interesting. And Britain, I don't remember. Did you say? I don't
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But their people aren't armed anyway.
No, they were disarmed long ago. Here we go. I mean, this is it. They got that statue in New York right on the UN front frickin' lawn, guys.
Well, you know, isn't it interesting that, like, right prior to this, all the last year, they've been trying to pass all these gun laws, which would have made it easier to enforce this.
Well, they're not going to enforce this right away.
No, it'll come on subtly.
Well, it's going to be a slow progression of the mindset that has to stick in, because if they do it suddenly, like if they do it on the 25th, or maybe they'll take Christmas off, I don't know, but on the 26th, if they start, you know what I mean, sending the troops in.
Yeah, it's a boiling water thing.
Yeah, it's a boiling water thing. They're going to do it slowly, 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 slowly. And then when people, start bitching, it's like, it's going to be like, oh,
usually too late.
Treaty. You know what I mean? This is how these heads operate. And John Skull and Bones Kerry, committed treason as well as, Obama letting this happen. So they're all culpable.
Well, so call all your new Republican leaders that got voted in and ask them what they're going to do about it, since everything's going to change and they're going to change everything. Maybe that's what they meant by everything will change now that the Republicans are in.
Who knows? I don't know, but it's obviously the assholes at the top, Mitch McConnell. Obviously, he's got 90 pounds of cocaine in shipping containers that his wife owns, or is one of the owners. I mean, come on, man. These guys are going to continue. They're not going to say anything about this. They will not. They won't even utter anything about it. But I mean, I don't know. It's this country is freaking gone. They're so corrupt at the top, and just still nothing gets done about it. And the Republicans are all going to roll over and show their pink little bellies. And, they're setting it up to shoot fish in a barrel here, guys. We better not be the fish.
Wow. That just blows my mind. Because I remember when it first came up, man, I just couldn't believe what I was reading when it first came out. And now this, saying that that it was signed, it blows my mind. I really thought it wasn't.
I know. I probably should read the Mitch McConnell thing just to get it, recorded.
We'll kind of go over it, over the main points.
All right.
In case somebody missed it.
Yeah, I mean, because we weren't even on yesterday, but I did read it. So, anybody who thinks this crap's going to change with the Republicans is sadly mistaken. Do you think the Republicans are going to do anything about this stuff? No. Mitch McConnell's frightened ties to a shadowy shipping company, which drugs were found aboard the Ping Mei, a vessel owned by his wife's family's company. Colombian authorities are investigating. So there's an ongoing investigation because they found 90 pounds of coke in one of the Chinese cargo vessels. It was en route to the Netherlands in late August, so pretty much just happened. I'm going to go ahead and read this, guys. I mean, let's see. Because it's important. Because we've got to know what the hell these assholes are up to. And this guy is going to be the Senate Majority Leader. I mean, he's taking Nancy Pelosi's place, and this is what he's got ties with the Chi-Coms. His wife is Chinese, guys. Mitch McConnell is just as bad as John Kerry as far as being a traitor. Oh my God! And he owns his wife owns these shipping container shipping companies. It says before the Ping-Mei, a rusty cargo vessel couldn't disembark from the port of Santa Marta en route to the Netherlands in late August. Colombian inspectors boarded the boat and made a discovery. Hidden in the ship's chain locker amidst its load of coal bound for Europe, which Mitch McConnell owns stocks in coal companies, guys, were approximately 40 kilograms or about 90 pounds of cocaine, a Colombian Coast Guard official told the nation. There is an ongoing investigation.
Isn't there always an ongoing investigation? So they can't talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't talk about it right now. The elections are coming up. This was an article, guys, from where was it? October 30th, 2014. So about 12 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The seizure of narcotics shipment. I'm going to go ahead and read this, Zorie.
Okay.
Pretty freaking important. Because there's a lot of connections that are made here in this article. The seizure of narcotics shipment in the Caribbean port occurred far from Kentucky, the state in which Senator Mitch McConnell is now facing a career-defining election. But the Republican Senate Minority Leader, he's now the Majority Leader, as of January, has the closest ties to the owner of the Ping-Mei, the vessel containing the illicit materials, the foremost maritime corporation, a firm founded and owned by McConnell's in-laws, the Chow family. Chi-Com. Though Foremost has played a pivotal role in McConnell's life, bestowing the senator with most of his personal wealth and generating thousands in donations to his campaign committees, the drug bust went unnoticed in Kentucky, where every bit of McConnell-related news has generated fodder for the campaign trail. That's because, like many international shipping companies, Chow's firm is shrouded from public view and concealing its identity and limiting its legal liability through an array of tax shelters and foreign registrations, registered through a limited liability company in the Marshall Islands. The Ping-Mei flies the Liberian flag. So, okay. So that's an Ebola-infested company or country right now. His boats fly the Liberian flag because the freaking tax shelters. Real nice. With the Chi-Coms. This is what they're doing, guys. And this is why this is exactly the reason why we sent, quote unquote, medical teams to build medical shelters there in Africa. We spent 5,000 troops now to do this. So we are trying to edge out the Chi-Coms. Meanwhile, they're married to our senators. So if anybody doesn't see a problem here, you better wake up. Because here comes the Chi-Coms, and they've got boats to get here too. Massive troops. All right. McConnell's ties to the Chows go way back to the 1980s when James Chow began donating to the senator in 1993. McConnell married James's daughter, Elaine Chow, a Republican activist and former Reagan administration official that would later serve as Secretary of Labor in the George W. Bush cabinet. Oh, isn't that quite a nice little bed full of varmints? I don't know. Sorry. James Chow emigrated to the United States from Taiwan, but he was born in China, and founded the Foremost Maritime Corporation upon settling in New York. The company has grown significantly over the years, from acting as maritime agent during the Vietnam War to controlling a fleet of approximately 16 dry bulk cargo ships in operation today. Foremost acts as a shipping agent, purchasing vessels made primarily in China and coordinating shipment of commodities. Records reviewed by The Nation reveal that Foremost transports corn, chemicals, and other goods to cities throughout the world. The company has offices in New York and Hong Kong. Oh, how quaint. Kind of like the UN, huh? I think they've got a Hong Kong. Maybe not. Anyway, some of the goods shipped by Foremost echoes themes of the McConnell campaign. At a Young Professionals Association of Louisville event this month, McConnell stressed his opposition to carbon dioxide limits imposed by the federal government that would impact the domestic coal market. He argued that such efforts would be fruitless, given the role of coal in developing countries and the rising coal trade, which he owns, I'm sure, a great deal of great deal of that. Foremost ships routinely transport coals from ports in Australia and Colombia, countries with cheap coal export to Asia and Europe. Nice. The firm, however, leaves a faint online trace. Foremost's website, fmcny.com, is blank. Yeah, I checked it yesterday. It's a GoDaddy thing. Records and court documents obtained by The Nation show that the ownership of the company's vessels, with names such as Ping Mei, Soya Mei, Fu Mei, and Grain Mei, is obscured through Byzantine structure of tax entities. Most of Foremost vessels are flagged in Liberia, which ensues that crew members of Foremost's ships work under Liberia's maritime labor laws, which critics note allow for intimidation in the workplace and few protections from labor unions. In addition, the Liberian, quote, flag of convenience, unquote, allows ship owners to pay lower tonnage taxes than ships that fly the U.S. flag. Maritime companies have increasingly used the Marshall Islands to register their vessels. The jurisdiction boasts of no taxation, lax regulation, and no requirement for disclosure of many corporate details, even to the United States government, according to a report in World Policy Journal. The recent seizure of cocaine on a Foremost coal ship came as authorities in Colombia have stepped up the anti-drug trafficking enforcement in the region. The Nation spoke to Luis Gonzalez, an official with the Colombian Coast Guard in Santa Marta, who told us that the Ping Mei's crew were questioned as a part of an ongoing investigation, but no charges have yet been filed, of course. His team found the cocaine in 40 separate packages. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Contacted by phone, a representative Foremost said he is obviously going to have no comment on this one. McConnell has benefited in many ways from his relationship with his in-laws. The Republican Senate minority, well, he's a majority leader now, his personal wealth grew sevenfold over the last 10 years, thanks in large part to a gift given to him by his wife in 2008 from James Chow, worth between $5 million and $25 million. Senate ethics forums require personal finance disclosures and ranges of amounts rather than specific figures. The gift helped the McConnells after their stock portfolio dipped in the wake of the financial crisis that year, 2008, guys, and ensured they could pay off more than $100,000 in mortgage debt on their Washington home. The generous gift made McConnell one of the wealthiest members of the Senate, with a net worth averaging around $22.8 million, according to the Washington Post review of his financial disclosures. Following the gift, McConnell sent a letter of congratulations to an auditorium of Chinese officials in Shanghai who were gathered for an event honoring James Chow's wife, McConnell's mother-in-law, Ruth Mulan Chu Chow, who passed away in 2007. The Shanghai Mulan Education Foundation, created in her honor, regularly hosts students from the University of Louisville, where McConnell has a leadership academy bearing his name that sends students on trips to China. Oh boy. The ties between McConnell... Nice? Yeah, it's so very nice and tidy and quaint and treasonous and everything else. Jeez. The ties between McConnell and his in-laws have come under scrutiny before. In 2001, they were probed in depth by the New Republic in an article that charged that McConnell led an effort to soften his party's criticism of China. Oh, isn't that nice? So he wants the Republicans not to criticize China so harshly. Though James Chow, who was a classmate of, these damn Chinese names, man, Jiang Zemin, the president of China in the 90s, McConnell and his wife met with Jiang several times both in Beijing and in Washington. McConnell subsequently tempered his criticism of Chinese human rights abuses and broke with the hawks like Senator Jesse Helms to support most favored nation trading status with China. As foremost established closer ties with mainland China, McConnell endorsed the position that the United States should remain ambiguous about coming to the defense of Taiwan in 1999, McConnell and his wife appeared at the University of Louisville with Chinese Ambassador Li Xiaowing. Li used the opportunity to bash congressional leaders for rebuking China over its repression of the Falun Gong religious sect. If anybody remembers all that, I totally remember that. Any responsible government will not foster evil propensities of cults by being over-lenient, Lee reportedly said at the event with McConnell and Chow. Holy crap. Rather than distance himself from the remarks, McConnell reportedly spoke about his, quote, good working relationship, unquote, with Lee. And if I do recall correctly, I think the Lee family, L.I., is part of one of the Illuminati families, if I'm not mistaken. Last Friday, McConnell dipped into his personal fortune and to lend his own campaign $1.8 million for the final week before the election. So he pulled out $1.8 million out of his own ass the last week before the election. Members of the Chow family and employees of Foremost have also given over $90,000 in contributions to McConnell over the years. Requests for comment to the McConnell team about the Ping Mei cocaine incident have gone unanswered. McConnell has positioned himself over the years as a tough-on-drugs politician. Of course. Problem, reaction, solution. In 1996, McConnell was the sole sponsor of the Enhanced Marijuana Penalties Act, a bill to increase the mandatory minimum sentencing for those caught with certain amounts of marijuana. That scumbag piece of shit. Let me tell you right now. Most
of the ones that yell the loudest for the drug laws are involved.
Are the ones that are the freaking drug dealers. Absolutely. Okay, a press release noted that his bill would make, quote, penalties for selling marijuana comparable to those for selling heroin and cocaine, unquote. So he wants to eliminate his competition.
Really, what's wrong with a country that you can get 25 to life for marijuana and 5 or 6 for murder?
Right. And this is the last sentence in this. In recent weeks, McConnell has touted his role in calling for more federal money to be used for drug enforcement. So that is it. I'm glad that's done. I won't be reading that again. So, wow. There they are.
There's the change.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a lot less for me anyway, about like the fact that he's highly involved with obviously like dealing cocaine to other countries or transporting it or whatever. It's the fact that the Chi-Coms have a giant foothold in this country.
And don't even think for a second that they're not bringing it in here too.
Right.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, they may have not signed on to this UN arms treaty, but they'll sure come and, you know, be a freaking fighting force if the UN calls for it, because they're definitely part of the United Nations, are they not?
Mm-hmm.
China? Yeah. So...
But yet they didn't sign the arms treaty either.
No, but if the UN calls for like troops to come here,
yep,
to enforce I bet you they wouldn't say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they got that shit all ready to go, all ready to roll out.
Everything's coming to a head. I mean, all their work for all these years, they're so patient. You know, and now you see it coming together in almost all aspects.
Yes, in every aspect of our lives. Every single aspect.
Open borders, you know, and it's disgusting. We have the largest prison population of the world, you know. When you look at the whole picture, it's damn scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for another thing, I just found in the Statesman Journal, Fukushima radiation identified off Northern California.
We knew this though.
Yeah, but now they're
admitting it.
Readings. Yeah, they're taking readings, and it says observed cesium 130. Yeah, cesium-134, 2014, North America. Low-level radiation from Japan Fukushima nuclear accident has been detected in multiple samples of ocean water off the Pacific coast of the United States and Canada. The Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution is reporting. The sample nearest to shore was taken about 100 miles off the coast of Eureka in Northern California. The levels are far... Now, this is what gets me. They say the levels are far below, you know, what said safe. And what did they do right after Fukushima? They raised the safe level, remember?
Yep.
Yeah. The levels are only detectable by sophisticated equipment able to discern minute quantities of radioactivity, Buesler said. So far, no samples taken from beaches have tested positive for Fukushima radiation. Now, right there, how about right after Fukushima, like, say, a month or two, remember they were finding it in the grass that the cows were eating, and finding it in the milk, and now they're saying no samples have hit the beaches. So, you know, who do you believe? The levels are lower, well, because we raised the levels of being safe higher, and there's some volunteers that have been taking samples, and they've sent them off to Massachusetts, I believe it is, to get tested, and they say that, processing has been completed on about 50 of the surf samples taken from the Bering Strait to San Diego. None have been tested positive for radiation. So there's a contradiction there. So who's telling the truth?
Well, I mean, remember when Jules read the she read when I can't remember she would know the the nuclear power plant that's there in California was registering high levels of cesium, which they didn't produce. So that particular power plant did not produce the cesium-137, and there was high levels of it, but it wasn't from them. So obviously it was from Fukushima. So that was, I don't know. She read that quite some time ago.
They're also stating in there that some of these readings have been there for ever since the testing that we did back in the 50s. That could account for some of the readings, and I just don't buy it.
That's the equipment that they're using is like that old? Is that what they just said?
No. They're saying some of the readings, some of the levels are from the 50s, from when they were doing all the nuclear testing.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. That could be absolutely true.
Well, yeah, some of it is, and I don't doubt that at all. But how can they report that they've found it in the grass that the cows are eating, they found it in the milk, and yet now they're saying that it's offshore, but it's low level, it won't hurt us, and it hasn't reached shore yet. So many contradictions.
Yeah, it pisses me off. They're just, it's like Hillary Clinton, you know, I mean, it's like all of them. They just lie and lie and lie and lie. It's like denying reality. Like they literally tell you stuff that is not true. A bold-faced lie, and then people just, they read that and go, oh, look, see?
Right, and their memory is so short, they don't remember them finding it in milk.
Right.
You know, just a year ago.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I don't know why people can't remember things, or they just, well, they come at us with so many things at once. I can see how if someone who doesn't really watch it closely could buy into it.
I know, exactly. And, I mean, where are those voices? I mean, they're here on UCY.TV. That's where they are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kevin Blanche is coming up next.
Oh, good. I wonder if he'll have something to say about this, because, you know, I think he has property out somewhere over there near Eureka.
Oh, yeah?
Where his home is. I know he's from California, and I'm pretty sure that he has a place up near Eureka.
I have no idea.
Wow. We'll have to listen to his show and see if he brings it up. I can't see him not bringing it up since it's in the, you know.
Post Ignorance comes on right after us, guys, so stay tuned to UCY.
Yeah. And see, here's another thing to distract you from this treaty thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know something is going to happen between now and Christmas to distract us even more.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Maybe that's what the Ebola thing, you know what I mean? Could be that. I mean, I think we need to keep an eye on what's happening to this this ATT.
Yeah, and then this other thing.
Arms treaty.
This thing with Google moves into NASA space under technology.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah, they've taken out a 60-year lease on NASA airfield next to its Silicon Valley headquarters, and that's here in California, as it pushes deeper into researching areas like space exploration and vehicles capable of navigating to other planets. The lease includes a commitment to spend $200 million on the facilities at Moffett Airfield, including renovating a gigantic historic airship hangar that has become prominent local landmark. Google's really getting into some scary areas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It says the space agency rejected an offer to pay for the renovation of Moffett Hangar 1, which stands about 200 feet high, in return for
She's
allowing...
reading an article, so I have to hurry up and smoke my weed.
Oh, no.
Oh,
your mic's open.
My mic was open when I... Sorry, guys. Hey, I got a license. Who cares?
Okay. In return for allowing Google executives to house their planes in the building, opting instead to run competitive tender for facilities last year. And like I said, Google is getting into so many things. They're part of the government almost, it seems like, anymore.
I'm still laughing. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know. I'm trying not to think about it.
Sorry, guys. That was terrible.
Okay. Anyway, that was it on that one. This one. New York City to stop small-time marijuana arrest. Now, this is something coming from New York.
So, can you hold off on that particular one? Because I've got something that would segue into what you just read.
Oh, about the marijuana?
No, about the woman for that.
The Google.
Yeah. They took over what? Moffett Air Force Base?
Right.
For the next 60 years?
Yeah.
To do what?
Let's see. Announcing a deal with Google on Monday, NASA said the Moffett facilities would be used for research, development, assembly, and testing in the areas of space exploration, aviation, robotics, and other emerging technologies.
Google okay. That's good right there.
Oh,
okay. So, Google, they've got, I saw this today, they've got the Robo Karate Kid, and it's their Atlas robot, which is gigantic, terrifying two-legged giant robot being developed by Google, stands on one leg and recreates the scene from the cult film Karate Kid. It says Atlas robot built by Boston Dynamics, which Google recently bought. Dubbed Ian, the Atlas robot is 6 feet tall, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and weighs about 330 pounds, and was programmed to perform move by a Florida team. It says for fans of the cult film Karate Kid, it's a familiar pose. However, the latest video from the U.S. military team developing a two-legged fighting robot, the build-up to the crane kick is seen in a new way. And I'm going to post this in the chat room when I'm done reading this, because this is pretty intense here. The researchers taught the robot to stand on one leg, recreating a key scene from the film in The Karate Kid in the process. Alright, there's a video attached to this article as well. That doesn't have any sound, by the way. The Atlas robot, created by Google, by Google-owned firm Boston Dynamics, is a formidable figure at 6 feet 2 and weighing at 330 pounds. The robot boasts 28 hydraulically actuated joints and stereo vision, which is one of the most advanced robots ever created. However, it's not just karate. Ian has another trick up his sleeve, software written by the Florida Institute for Human and Machine Interaction, which allows him to drive a car. To achieve this level of maneuverability in robots, researchers at IHMC look toward nature, the team say, inspired by the speed of cheetahs, the endurance of horses, the maneuverability of monkeys, and the versatility of humans. IHMC researchers are on the quest to develop legged robots that are fast, efficient, and graceful, with the mobility required to access many of the same places that humans can. At the U.S. government's Robo-Olympics, Ian came second, despite competing as a virtual software simulation. Despite his lack of limbs, the world's most innocuously named bot was able to walk, carry a fire hose, and most impressively, got into a car and drive it. Holy crap.
Wow, just think they could come at us with the robots to get our weapons, and how would you defend yourself against that? Because if they can walk around carrying a hose, they can walk around carrying a gun.
Well, shit. Well, there's guns already in their systems. I mean, Atlas, they said it was a fighting robot at the beginning here. Atlas is a high mobility humanoid robot designed to negotiate outdoor rough terrain, Boston Dynamics said. Atlas can walk bipedally, leaving the upper limbs free to lift, carry, and manipulate the environment. In extremely challenging terrain, Atlas is strong and coordinated enough to climb using hands and feet, pick its way through congested spaces. Articulated sensate hands will enable Atlas to use tools designed for human use. Atlas includes 28 hydraulically actuated degrees of freedom to hands, arms, legs, feet, and a torso. Its articulated sensor head includes stereo cameras and a laser rangefinder. Atlas is powered from an off-board electric power supply via a flexible tether, although a new version promises to remove this. Just like I was thinking, I'm like, oh look, they've got the but they already have it now, so that they don't have to have that tether to it. And I am putting this sucker right now in chat. Right there. Bam! Go check that out, guys, because
it reminds me of the Terminator.
Well, it's the Karate Kid. It is the Terminator. It's worse than the Terminator. Oh, let's see. Okay. Very good. So there we go. They can pretty much go anywhere we can go, and perhaps better. Like, they could probably even jump down and not get hurt. Jump down in that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Valleys, ravines, and unbelievable
buildings.
Guys.
You know, I mean, yeah.
Clear all kinds of terrain. Yep.
Yeah, you know, and you wonder. I mean, they say, what was it? They were going to be using them in war, in battles by the year 2015, I think it was. And I mean, if they can use them in battle, they can use them against us.
Well, absolutely. They're already starting to get us used to the idea of, like, the little robots that go in and sterilize the hospital room in less than 5 minutes. They're already starting to get us used to, like, Christmas next year will probably be, like, the big thing will be this little robot you bring into your house. Like, we already said that the other day. Yup, boy, I don't know. It's happening. Like, there's really, what's to stop all this?
I just watched a movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really good. And it was where these robots were in almost every home, you know, doing household chores and all. And then all of a sudden, their programming, because they got so smart, they turned on people.
Sure.
And, you know, you can see it coming.
That's inevitably what will happen. I mean, that's inevitable. As they become smarter than humans, you know, they'll definitely be seeing humans as
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of the movie, because it's a new movie out. Well,
see, this is the thing. It's that part of the predictive programming there to get us to accept that robots are going to be smarter, better, faster, stronger than humans. That's the whole idea behind these movies that come out. You know what I mean?
Right, and they're all like, you know, okay, so they're programmed to help you around the house and do this and that. But like it showed in this, but also in them was a program where they all united at once. They all turned at once against the humans. You know, and who knows what's
Like the
being
Matrix.
programmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They've been programming us for that idea for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then, that's funny, me and Jovi were thinking the exact same thing, the exact same time. Right when I said that, he posted that.
Mm-hmm. Great minds think alike.
There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's
Well,
it,
okay.
man.
I want to go to this one, though, because it blows my mind that New York City is the one coming with up with this. New York City to stop many small-time marijuana arrests. New York, thousands of people carrying small amounts of marijuana may no longer be arrested or face criminal charges. City officials announced Monday, marking a significant shift in how the nation's biggest city approaches policing pot. Instead of being arrested on misdemeanor charges that carry potential punishments of up to 3 months in jail, many people will get court summons and face non-criminal violations punishable by fines starting at $100, Mayor Bill de Blasio and Police Commissioner William Bratton said. While state law makes it a misdemeanor to have up to 25 grams, about a sandwich bag of marijuana in public view, the mayor characterized stopping such arrests is an enforcement choice. He said it would give police officers time to pursue more serious crime and spare people from the consequences of arrest records for cases that often end up getting dismissed. Wow, I can't believe this is coming from New York City. It's a smart policy that keeps New Yorkers safe, but it's also a more fair policy, said de Blasio, a first-term Democrat who faced pressure to keep campaign promises to reduce the more than 20,000 such arrests per year. The announcement comes a week after voters in Washington, D.C. and in Oregon and Alaska approved measures for legalizing marijuana, joining Colorado and Washington states. De Blasio and Bratton opposed legalizing the drug. City lawmakers, district attorneys, and civil rights advocates, including the Reverend Al Sharpton, hailed the change, and the police captain's union president noted it would eliminate cases that often get dismissed and subject officers to criticism. But the city's biggest police union said it could tie officers' hands. We do not want police officers left holding the bag if crime rises because of poor policy. Oh, come on. Patrolmen's Benevolent Association President Patrick L. Lynch said in a statement, writing a summons to someone who does not respect the law can result in a volatile situation. Under a 1977 state law, it's only a violation to have up to 25 grams of marijuana in a pocket or bag. But the offense rises in a misdemeanor if the pot is being smoked in an open public view. Under the new policy set to take effect November 19th, people caught smoking will still be arrested, as will people with open warrants or no identification. Now, I don't get, what does no identification have to do with pot? You know, that wasn't even mentioned in it, but there it goes on. Prosecutors estimate it would affect 92% of the low-level marijuana cases in Queens and about 50% in Brooklyn, where the district attorney has taken his own steps to curtail pot prosecutions. But yet, New York, they didn't pass a law to legalize or decriminalize marijuana, did they?
In New York?
I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't remember either.
It's still against the law, but you won't get arrested for breaking that law, is what they're saying.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't know. It's just really, what I'm waiting for is to see how Washington, D.C., I mean, they made it legal for recreational use Now, how can they do that? It just, I just, my brain, it has this problem where things just don't make sense, and it just makes it pulsate.
Right.
I mean, federal law is there is no partial laws or anything as far as the feds are concerned. Any possession of any drug, especially Schedule 1, you're going to get arrested. So things are just so upside down. Nobody knows, and every state that legalizes it, well, then they put restrictions, and these restrictions are usually so vague that you can still get arrested for being legal.
Right.
It's, I mean, the only way the government has any authority is to fight against crime. And they make the laws so vague that almost anyone at any moment is breaking one.
Sure, absolutely. This is, yeah, it's the exact damn same thing with the UN Arms Treaty there. It's so damn vague, and so, it encompasses pretty much everything that,
it's
everybody's
like the Bible.
gonna...
Everyone,
Huh?
like the Bible, everyone puts their own thoughts into what it's really saying.
Right.
And that's what law enforcement does all the time with these laws that are so vague, but yet you're, like in California, you're legal, but you're a criminal at the same time.
Right. I've got something that segues totally into that.
Oh, good. Take it.
Yeah, here's the vague stuff. This is real nice. This is them completely using that whole thing. It says, police use of department wish lists when deciding which assets to seize. This is from November 9th, so a couple days ago. The seminars offered police officers some useful tips on seizing property from suspected criminals. Don't bother with jewelry, too hard to dispose of. And computers, everybody's got one already. And the experts counsel, do go after flat screens, TVs, cash, and cars, especially nice cars. In one seminar, captured on video in September, Harry S. Conley Jr., the city attorney for La Cruces, New Mexico, called them little goodies. Oh, New Mexico again. And then Mr. Conley described how officers in his jurisdiction could not wait to seize one man's exotic vehicle outside a local bar. A guy drives up in a 2008 Mercedes, brand new, he explained, just so beautiful. I mean, the cops were undercover and they were just like, and he gets out and he's just reeking of alcohol, and it's like, oh my goodness, we can hardly wait.
Mm-hmm. Yet their eyes see dollar signs.
Mr. Conley was talking about a practice known as civil asset forfeiture, which allows the government, without ever securing a conviction or even filing a criminal charge, to seize property suspected of having ties to a crime. The practice, expanded during the war on drugs during the 1980s, has become a staple of law enforcement agencies because it helps finance their work. It is difficult to tell how much has been seized by the state and local law enforcement. It's difficult to tell how much has been seized by state and local law enforcement, but under a Justice Department program, the value of assets seized has ballooned to $4.3 billion in the 2012 fiscal year from $407 million in 2001. So wow, holy crap! That's quite a sizable increase. Much of that money is shared with local police forces. So this is just wow.
And a lot of the DEA areas, they get to keep all of it, 100%.
Oh, yeah. This is
and where do you think they get all these new cars? I mean, almost even our police force here in a small town, they all have brand new cars every single year.
Yeah.
You know, where are they getting that from? You know, we're not a rich community.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
The practice of civil forfeiture has come under fire in recent months amid a spate of negative press reports and growing outrage among civil rights advocates, libertarians, and members of Congress who have raised serious questions about the fairness of the practice, which critics say runs roughshod over due process rights. In one oft-cited case, a Philadelphia couple's house was seized after their son made $40 worth of drug sales on the porch. Selling a little bit of weed, their home got snatched. Despite that opposition, many cities and states are moving to expand civil seizures of cars and other assets. The seminars, some of which were captured on video, raise a curtain on how law enforcement officials view the practice. From Orange County, New York, to Rio Rancho, New Mexico, forfeiture operations are being established or expanded. In September, Albuquerque, which has long seized the cars of suspected drunken drivers, began taking them from a man suspected of trying to pick up prostitutes, landing seven cars during a one-night sting. Arkansas has expanded its seizure law to allow the police to take cash and assets with suspected connections to terrorism, and Illinois' move to make boats a fair game under DWI laws, in addition to cars. So, you got a boat in your garage? We get that too, dude.
Yeah, I seen a clip. I mean, it really shows how ridiculous it is. Because when they do civil forfeiture, they are saying that, like, that couple's home, the house was guilty, and
right.
Like when they take money from you on the road, because they're saying that the money is guilty of being involved in drugs. And this clip showed this pile of money on a table, and they were in there saying, "All right, now you got to tell us the truth. Come on, speak up now." You know, like interrogating the money.
Sure.
This is so crazy. I mean, even when you can validate your reason for having the money, they still take it.
Yeah.
And then when you get it back, you don't get it all back. There's always a fee involved.
If you get it back at all.
And most people don't get it back because they don't have the money to hire a lawyer. And then when you go to court, you don't go into a regular courtroom. You go into a room with the police department that took your money.
Yep.
So, most people just give it up. And that's why when we went on our road trip, my roommate and I, last May, we only took $100 in cash money and put, that was it. We weren't, because they would just, if they got us pulled over, especially since they pull out-of-state cars over more than they do in-state, there's a good chance of losing your money.
Well, yeah, we've talked about this before. They've got those little scanners to see how much money you're carrying in their car.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they did the testing right here in Red Bluff, they have them at the truck stops. That's where the highway patrol sits, and they check out the trucks. And that thing that goes over the top, and it has this meter up there.
Yeah.
We found out about it when they did their first arrest, when they started that. And this has been, how long have they been changing the money into the color different? It's been about 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's when this thing came in effect. They arrested this woman who had $200,000 in her trunk. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't doing anything. And when it came out in court, that's how they knew she had all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let me keep reading this.
Okay.
It says, in Mercer County, New Jersey, a prosecutor preaches the gospel that forfeiture is not just for drug arrests. Cars can be seized in shoplifting and statutory rape as well. Oh, isn't that quite... It's not wonderful.
Because if he raped her in the house, then the house is guilty.
That's right. Damn it. Damn house. Okay. At the grassroots level, cities, counties, they continue to be interested, perhaps increasingly so in supplementing their budgets by engaging in the type of seizures that we've seen in Philadelphia and elsewhere, said Lee McGrath, a lawyer for the Institute for Justice, a public interest law firm that has mounted a legal and public relations assault on civil forfeiture. Much of the nuts and bolts about how to civil forfeiture is passed on in continuing education seminars for local prosecutors and law enforcement officials, some of which have been captured on video. The Institute for Justice, which brought the videos to the attention of the Times, says they show how cynical the practice has become and how profit motives can outweigh public safety. In the sessions, officials share tips on maximizing profits, defeating the objections of the so-called innocent owners who were not present when the suspected offense occurred, and keeping the proceeds in the hands of law enforcement and out of the general fund budgets. Wow, these assholes are worse than the fucking mafia. The Times reviewed 3 sessions, one in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that took place in September, one in New Jersey that was updated, and one in Georgia in September that was not videotaped. Officials offered advice on dealing with skeptical judges, mocked Hispanics whose cars were seized, and made comments that the Institute for Justice said gave weight to the argument that civil forfeiture encourages decisions based on the value of assets to be seized rather than public safety. So if you got a shitty car, they don't give they're not going to take that. In the Georgia session, the prosecutor leading the talk boasted that he had helped roll back a Republican-led effort to reform civil forfeiture in Georgia, where money has been used by the authorities, according to news reports, to pay for sports tickets, office parties, home security system, and a $90,000 sports car. Shit, I want one. Why can't I have one of those? In defense of the practice, Gary Bergman, a prosecutor with the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, said civil forfeiture had been distorted in news reports. All they hear is the woman was left on the side of the road and police drove off with her car and her money, no connection to drugs. He told other prosecutors at the session, "I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It does. It should not." What the
So that makes it okay.
Deal with this. Unfucking real. Alright, but they never have to hear about all the people who get stopped with the drugs in their cars, in their houses, the manufacturing operations we see, all the useful things we do with the money, the equipment, the vehicles. They don't hear about that. Oh, it's fucking believable. In an interview, sorry guys, I don't have any water with me and I'm starting to get parched. In an interview, Mr. Conley said the Los Credas ordinance does only what the state Supreme Court has said is permissible. Wow, don't move to freaking New Mexico or New Jersey. Sean D. McMurdy, the chief of the forfeiture unit in Mercer County, New Jersey, prosecutor's office, said forfeiture contributes only to a small percentage of local budgets, but it is a good deterrent and works especially well against repeat offenders such as domestic violence perpetrators who repeatedly violate a restraining order. We are very proud of our forfeiture operation, he said in an interview, so it's not just for drugs anymore, people. Oh my God, here we go.
And there's no accountability for the money they keep. I mean, they buy things like margarita machines and gadgets like that.
But what is to say that you, in the future, if you get a fucking parking ticket, you won't have to give up your car and your house. I mean, where's the limit at? There's no freaking limit here. If they can do this, they can do that. They'll be able to do anything.
Even if you've never even been charged.
Right. Well, of course not. If you just heard the dude say they pulled this little old lady over and took her money and took her car and left her on the side of the road.
I have reason. Yeah, like this one clip, this officer looks at the guy and he asks, how much money do you have? And the guy answers, well, I have this much money. And the officer said, step out of the car, and the money was in the trunk. He had him open the trunk, and the officer said, well, through my investigation here, I am led to believe that this is money going to be used to buy drugs, so I'm confiscating it. I mean, through his investigation of what? Opening the trunk and took this man's money who was on his way to buy a car. He showed proof that he was on his way to buy a car through eBay, and they still took his money.
Yeah. Looks like people with large amounts of cash need to put them in some sort of a Faraday cage. You know what I mean? Where those little scanners can't scan that. Ridiculous.
Yeah, one lady, and then there was this one lady. She sold her home, and then she was gonna fly some other country. She was gonna fly there and join her daughter and live there. She put some money in the bank, but she had taken about $40,000 in cash with her. You know, in her suitcases. They took that money. They asked her what it was for. She told them that she just sold her house. She had proof that the money was, gotten from selling her home. They still took her money and then let her go her way and fly out of the country. And she never did get the money back. But, why are we allowing this? We don't allow people to come into our homes and steal our money. We don't, but what do you do how do you fight the law? How do you fight breaking the law when it's the law breaking the law? You know what I mean?
Well, if you're the freaking mafia, I suspect then they'll figure that out because they can do whatever the hell they want.
I remember in California, and I've said this before because it was a very scary time when our little community, now we're not that big, and during the big drug push when it was really, going strong, every Wednesday I would read the paper and read all the public notices, and we were bringing in about $1 million a week and stuff being confiscated and sold. And if it wasn't for the Speaker of the House, I can't remember which one it was. He was Speaker for a long time. When he was leaving, he asked that drug forfeitures had to wait until they had been found guilty to be able to use what they confiscated. In other words, they could confiscate the stuff, but they had to charge the people with the crime of drugs, and then they had to store the stuff until that person was found guilty.
Right.
Well, right after he did that, it was amazing. Now you don't even see but a couple thousand in confiscated stuff in the paper. I mean, it dropped almost immediately because they had to wait until there was someone found guilty.
Right. Okay, well, let me keep going with this article. I'm almost done, and I think I should keep going. So Mr. McMurdy said in his handling of a case, he's the prosecutor, said in his handling of a case is sometimes determined by departments which lists, if you want the car and you really want to put it in your fleet, let me know. I'll fight for it, Mr. McMurdy said, addressing law enforcement officials on the video. If you don't let me know that, I'll try and resolve it quick through a settlement and get the cash for the car, get the tow feed paid off, and get some money for it. So this is a prosecutor saying all this shit.
Right, they're all in league together.
Yeah. One criticism of civil forfeiture is that it results in widely varied penalties. One drunken driver could lose a $100,000 luxury car, while another forfeits a $2,000 clunker. In an interview, Mr. McMurdy acknowledged that he exercises a great deal of discretion. The first offense is not anything too serious. We'll come up with a dollar amount, depending on the value of the car and the seriousness of the offense, he said. I try to come up with a dollar amount that's not so high that they can't afford it, but is not so low that it doesn't have an impact. If it's a second offense, they don't get it back. Prosecutors estimated that between 50 to 80% of the cars seized were driven by someone other than the owner, which sometimes means a parent or a grandparent loses their car. In Santa Fe, in the Santa Fe video, a police officer acknowledged that the law can affect families, but expressed skepticism of owners who say they did not know their relative was running afoul of the law. I can't tell you how many people have come in and said, "Oh, my Haito would never do that," he said, mimicking a female voice with a Spanish accent. Oh, that's the end of that.
Yeah, it's like drug dealers are gonna go, "Grandma, can I use your car to go sell some drugs? I'll be back in a little while."
Right. All right, that's enough of that. Well, civil
but this has got to stop.
Drunk driving. I mean, how far is it going to go? This is bullshit. I mean, if they allowed this to happen on this, first it's drugs, now it's drunk driving, now next it'll be sneezing and spitting on the street or cursing.
Well, it doesn't even have to be any of those. If a cop can pull you over, for anything and take your money and your car by saying, "I think it's involved in drugs." You don't even have to be a drunk driver, or one of their favorites is, "I couldn't see your license plate light at night." Right. That's one of their favorite things to pull you over for.
Absolutely.
And just for that, if your if your light isn't working right and you have some money on you, they've been known to take as little as $200 to $400 off of people. So, the law enforcement has become the thugs, the criminal element in this country.
Yes, I agree with that. SLC is in the chat room, totally expanding on that Chow family that McConnell's married into. Pretty amazing when you start digging into this crap. I mean to change gears, but he's got.
And he just got reelected. Is the scariest part.
Oh boy, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I know. And see, meanwhile, cops are pulling people over for no reason at all and taking their stuff. Meanwhile, our senators are married into Chinese families and are dealing drugs, smuggling drugs all over the freaking planet, and they get away with it. Even when they get busted, they get away with it. So what? Okay, there's a little off balance of power here, would you people say? I mean, do you see something wrong here?
Well, it's just like when
what the hell is going on? Am I talking on mute? No, I'm not.
When a legislator or any of them get arrested on a drug charge, what happens?
And it doesn't even matter if the cops pull over Mitch McConnell. They're not going to seize the dude's car. His car and the rest of their cars are completely immune from all of these cops. All they got to show is their proper credentials, and there we go. Oh, yes. And Mitch McConnell's been in the drug smuggling game for years. He's married right into it.
Yeah, how long has he been?
Hello, where's my shipment? Are you there, Zorie?
Yeah, can't you hear me?
Oh, you know what? I've got you down. You there?
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. I turned the volume.
How long has he been in office?
Who, Mitch McConnell?
Yeah.
Let's see. That's a good question. When did he get
early 90s, I think. Or maybe it's the 80s.
Dude, I have to read what's in here.
Yeah, I do.
I've just got to. Thanks, SLC, for putting this in here, dude. I absolutely love you. It says, I can use logic to show that Chow's ships had special access to drug shipping points for many years. That's why they got busted coming out of Colombia, guys. A week ago, Mrs. Chow was somehow put into maritime administration after her White House fellowship, which she worked for George W. Bush. Remember, Chow resumed her banking career and moved to San Francisco to help establish the West Coast syndications unit at Bank America Capital Markets Group as vice president of syndications. Oh my God, we are invaded by the Chi-Coms, guys. Within 2 years, she returned to Washington, D.C. when she was appointed by then U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elizabeth Hanford Dole to the Deputy Administrator of the Maritime Administration, the second in command. Think she might and then Mike goes on to say, think she might provide a great cover for the drug smuggling dynastic enterprise. Abso-fucking-lutely.
It's amazing.
Yes. Man, oh man, they've been doing this for quite some time, and now that they've gotten busted, nothing's going to happen to them. Meanwhile, Granny gets her car and her money and her house stolen from the freaking local law enforcement and crazy out-of-hand prosecutors that are running around like shitting their pants in order to get their hands on everybody's assets. What the fuck's the problem with this picture?
Like, the more criminal you are, the higher up you go. So I wouldn't be surprised if McConnell doesn't end up our president in the future.
Don't give him any ideas. Yeah, we'll have a freaking Chi-Com as the first fucking lady. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. So there goes my goat.
Your goat doesn't like it either.
My goat hates it, damn it! I've got a protest goat here.
Yeah. This is crazy. And it's all out there, but yet people still vote according to their party, and they always put the blame on the other party when both parties are doing the same
shit. Same shit. Oh my God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We're out of... Wow, that went fast.
Wow.
Did you look at the time?
Yeah. Yikes. Wow. Well, we did it. Another...
Yeah, we hit on some pretty serious shit here. I hope people take it to heart and do something. Call your congressman and say, what the hell's going on here, you know?
At this the arms trade treaty, man, is...
right, let them know we're watching.
Oh! This has got to go. And, you know, charges need to be brought up against Kerry.
Mm-hmm. And Obama for thinking he has the authority to give Kerry that kind of power.
Well, we can call this UN Gate.
There you go. This is terrible.
Freaking believable, man.
As they steal our money as we drive down the highway. Tell me this whole system isn't corrupt and broken.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Oh my gosh. I guess everybody else heard the goat too, so Maddie made a cute little comment in the chat room.
I see that.
That's cute. You said that one got your goat. It did. My goat's pissed off.
And I'm rocking again.
I got an Alex Jones goat that's going to start screaming into the mic anytime soon. The way they depict Alex Jones in those Conrad the Constitution is just hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've only seen the one so far. I have to go download.
Go and check those out. The way they depict Alex is so funny. And the way they make Obama talk is every single time I just crack up when they do Obama. He just goes, op, nap, 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 and then they translate it. It's really, it's just apropos. I love those cartoons.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, here we go. Let's see.
exhausted.
I am too, man. Like the UN, like talking about the UN just drains my brain, man.
Yeah, and one of my pet peeves is the prison industry and the forfeiture. Those things just set me off, and I just the injustice is beyond belief, and most people don't know about it.
Right, and well, what pisses me off is that the civil asset forfeiture thing, but just the fact that McConnell's getting away with all this crap, and the rest of them are getting away with all of it. That's what gets my go, is that they all get away with it without any
accountability
whatsoever. That's what gets my go going. All right. Well, it's the end of the show. Stay tuned to UCY.TV for more totally awesome programming. Next is Post Ignorance with Kevin fucking Flinch, guys. At 1 o'clock, we got The Edge of John Stokes. At 3, we got the Jack Blood Show. And then at 6 o'clock, it's Tuesday night. It's a special treat here in UCY. Starting at 6 with the Ocelli Effect of Chuckacelli. And then at 9 o'clock, it's All Things Apocalyptic with G. Michael Hoff. He's the guy that created the conflicted card games and wrote the books, guys. Then at 10, we got our gun talk, and I'm sure there's a lot for Michael to talk about with his brother tonight. And at primer time at 10 o'clock, we got the UN coming down hard on us, guys. Stay tuned to that show. And then 11 is Prepper Chicks After Dark, where they play Conflicted on Air. So everybody have a great day, and screw the UN. That's what I say on a day like today. It's Veterans Day. That's what we need to be focusing on, is our vets. So happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Smiles per hour, folks. Try and spread them around.
Absolutely.
Have a good
Care and stay tuned.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Where's the bumper at?
Should be here.
Should be here.
It will be.
It's almost 59.
Oh, no. At 59 it comes on, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, go out, have a good time, try and enjoy your day. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. There it is. No
with
bumper.
bells on. Wow. Well, let's hope maybe we're the only show that's going to come across. That would be terrible.
Well, it'll be Kevin's bumper bumping us off here in a second. I'll have to drop her a note that the bumper isn't playing. That's weird, huh?
Yeah. Well, we had a bumper coming in.
Yeah, it'll be Kevin's bumper here. So, thanks, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat.
Bye.
Love you. Everybody take care. See you tomorrow.